Greetings and welcome to another edition of Caring About Seniors. I am your host, Adrienne Houghton. Now, each week, as you know, I sit down with Oasis Senior Advisors Jacksonville and we discuss all aspects of senior living. Today, I am joined by Bagocius from Oasis and Dave Roberts from Beach House Assisted Living, and he's the Sales and Marketing Director, so hopefully he's going to tell us all about the wonderful Beach House. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Adrienne. How are you today?
I'm very well. Welcome, Al. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
So, it's a difficult situation going into assisted living. Mm-hmm. When is the right time to talk about it?
Well, what I'll tell you is what I tell people is there's a proactive approach and a reactive approach. We always like the proactive approach. Mom's starting to slow down. It's time to kind of make a decision. Versus the reactive approach. Mom had a stroke. Now she's in a nursing home getting rehab, and it's time to look. Okay, so, that's generally the right time is looking at the proactive approach.
And it's like, well, is it when they're a set age? Is it when you start noticing things around the house? I mean, proactive, that's great, but, I'm almost 68 years old, and I don't want to even think about assisted living, but maybe this is the time I should be.
Well, a lot of times we see it when an individual has been married, recently lost their spouse or a loved one, and now they're getting to the point to where they want, they're realizing it's hard to cook for one. The house is a lot more to care for. It makes it tough on that angle. Well, then the kids start to realize that too. Mom's losing weight. She's not eating as well. Starting to notice mom's forgetting some things. That's when that we get the phone call most of the time.
Yeah. And Al, I mean, you've been dealing with Dave for a while now.
Right.
You have the same situation. It's much easier to deal with proactively than it is reactively, although you do have those situations.
Mm-hmm. And we're really coming up on a wonderful barometer this weekend, and that's Easter weekend, where families get together. We get to see mom and dad, see how they're doing, and really everybody's all together. It's a good time for a family huddle and really decide what's the next step. And I ask and I beg and I plead, follow up with mom and dad the week after Easter, because they're on their best behavior and they're trying so hard to please everybody. They're not showing you their real selves. And if you give them some food in their refrigerator and it's still sitting in that refrigerator a week later when you see them, that's a recipe for some real problems with foodborne infections.
Yes, of course.
One thing we see a lot of is, when they're on the phone with their daughter that may live in Boston, they say, hey, honey, I'm doing great, because they don't want their daughter to really know what's going on. And when the daughter comes in town for Easter, she sees that there's more cat food than there is food for her mother to consume. And that's when we get the phone call, or Al gets the phone call.
Yeah, golly. Now, I hear there's a big demand for memory care, and you also, not only is it assisted living, but you have memory care facility. Tell me about that.
So memory care, from what people say, and what a lot of people think, is just because my dad has Alzheimer's or dementia, he needs a memory care setting. Well, that's not always the case at the beginning stages. They can live in an assisted living setting and be monitored, but in the memory care setting, once they get to those more moderate to advanced stages, that's where you want them to be, because there's a lot more hands-on care. It's a smaller setting because there's a lot of changes that occur in the brain that we don't understand as they start to get dementia and Alzheimer's. For instance, the word bathroom or restroom goes out the window. They don't know what that means. But if you put a picture of a toilet on a door, they'll know that that's the right place. A lot of memory care and Alzheimer's residents will not walk into a door that's shut because they're scared what's on the other side. Back in the 80s and 70s, or 80s and early 90s, they did a lot of construction in hospitals and removed those old tile floors that were white and black checkerboard, because what they realized was Alzheimer's patients would only walk on the white tiles because they thought the black tiles were holes.
Oh my goodness.
So these are things that we learn in the business, and through all the study and research and constant training that Al goes through, I go through, and most of us in the healthcare industry go through to learn this stuff, because you'd never think about that.
And there's a number of different strains of memory loss, isn't there? It's not just Alzheimer's, although everyone always says Alzheimer's because it's the most frequently said, I think. But there's Lewy body, and there's so many more, and they all have different aspects, don't they?
They do, but ultimately none of it is actually determined. You know, Alzheimer's cannot officially be diagnosed until post-mortem. The reason being, doctors make a diagnosis of it, but it's under suspicion. They technically don't know until they look at the brain post-mortem and see the decay and the plaques and all that stuff.
Right.
But they can set it as senile dementia, or, you know, this. We think this is all. I mean, there's signs and symptoms, but you technically really don't know until post-mortem.
Right. So first of all, tell us, where is Beach House? I mean, it should be on the beach. I mean, that's, you know.
So we're at 1315 2nd Avenue North, located in Jack's Beach.
Right.
One thing that's a little different with us is we're a hidden gem. We're located in a neighborhood. So if you know where Penman Road is, you have Penman Park right next to the Coast Guard station. We're tucked right next door. So when we walk out our front door and we look, we see the neighbor cutting their grass or washing their car. We don't see, you know, just droves of traffic going down a main intersection or a main road.
How nice, how nice. So what services do you offer? What are all of the services that you offer?
So we mainly offer assisted living and memory care. And with those, you know, there's things that we provide. Some of the things that we provide are activities of daily living, which is bathing, dressing, toileting, grooming, those type of things, assistance with medications, okay? Those are all on the care side. But some of the base services that are included at Beach House is all your utilities. So the only utility you have to worry about is your phone. Some people like a cell phone, some people like a landline. Dealing with this generation, you know, most of them like a landline still. So, you know, we have to deal with that. But Wi-Fi is included, cable. Our cable is closed circuit, and it was actually picked by our residents. So we have channels that me, being a 45-year-old man, that I may not particularly like, but my 84-year-old residents love it. Yeah. So we've got 2 Western channels for them and all kinds of fun stuff.
So what's actually included in the basic rent?
So the basic rent includes 3 meals a day in a restaurant-style dining room where you order from a menu. You have weekly housekeeping. They'll come in and clean your room for you. Laundry services. They'll do 2 loads of linens a week for you. They'll fold it, put it back away for you, so that makes it nice, as well as electricity, water, sewer, trash, cable, and Wi-Fi.
Oh my goodness. Now you've got different levels of care that you offer to people. Would you like to explain a little bit about that?
So our levels of care are determined by a nursing assessment. Our nurses go out and meet with the potential resident, but ultimately we have to follow what's called an 1823 form. We are governed by the state of Florida, and that is a form that's filled out by their physician. And it's a history and physical. So it tells us head to toe what's going on with you. And then we determine our care based on that. But we do have 4 levels of care. So some with just a very minimal amount of care. And then we have more people that need a lot higher acuity.
Right. Yeah. And Al, I mean, you obviously have people that need to be housed. And when you take them along there, do you suggest that they sort of spend a day there and see how they like it, or how does it work?
The way that I like to do it most is schedule a lunch for the tour. So they come in, they can talk to the other residents, talk to the staff. And frankly, a senior will move in or move out depending on how good the food is. That's
Are you serious?
serious.
As simple as that?
Yep. I just wrote a blog, and you know I do a lot of blogs for seniors here. I wrote a blog on ice cream today and all of the brain benefits of eating ice cream. So you'll see all the senior communities, they'll have ice cream socials and things of that sort. That is a wonder drug for breaking the isolation, breaking the ice, and making the seniors feel good.
Yeah, so it's all about that. Dave, what do you want people to know about Beach House that makes it stand out from other places?
One of the biggest things that we offer, Jacksonville is such a military community. There's a benefit that folks get from the VA, and it's called the aid and attendance benefit, but that's not what I'm talking about. We at Beach House, we give a 10% discount to our veterans and their spouses. So if they show us a DD 214 of a husband that passed away, we'll give you 10% off your monthly rent, and that's off your base rent. So that's something that I can tell you. I've been in this business for 24 years, and out of all the different communities I've never worked at, I've never seen anybody offer that. And with having as many naval bases as we have, and military veterans in the area, it's a good service.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And what would you say, Al, is the sort of final words for people out there who are considering, that sounds like it might be the right place for me? I mean, there's a lot of things to be taken into consideration, but
it is, and the fact that a little bit of history, the Beach House used to be a women's center many years ago, so it's really people-centered, and the many times that I have been there, all the staff is engaged with their residents, and that's really a big plus.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for coming in. I
Absolutely.
Really appreciate it, and good luck with the future, because now we're coming out of the pandemic. Hopefully everyone's able to connect once more and to tour and to feel a lot more comfortable. And
Absolutely.
I'm sure you've noticed the change.
We have been very busy with folks. Absolutely.
Fantastic. Thanks, Dave. Thanks,
Thank
Al.
you.
And don't forget, if you'd like to know any more information about Beach House Assisted Living and Memory Care, you can also find it on iwannabuzz.com. Look forward to seeing you again on Caring About Seniors.